And that happens all the time in sales. I relate it to an iceberg. I think almost 90% of an iceberg's mass is underwater. So it's the same thing with objections. It's the same thing with what's going on in the customer's mind. 90% of what they're thinking is below the surface. Like, they're not telling you exactly what they're thinking. So hey everybody, this is Kevin Kartchner, and this is the Fight Against Mediocrity YouTube channel where we talk everything sales, business, and real estate. So I wanted to talk today about a question a student asked me this week on a coaching call. And it's a question that I get a lot and that I struggled with when I first got into sales. And it's, what's the difference between a complaint and a true objection? And the reason this is important to understand is that a lot of times customers, they're just complaining. They're just complaining about something, but they're still gonna buy. The beginner salesperson, myself included, when I started in sales, I did this. The beginner salesperson is gonna have the tendency to take every complaint seriously and treat it like an objection. Now that might not seem like a problem, but what happens is there are several complaints throughout the process and you just get burnt out trying to overcome each complaint when really you don't need to do anything. A good example is right now we're in December of 2021 and gas has gone through the roof. Gas prices for cars and everything really. And it's funny because you hear a lot of people complain about the gas prices. They say things like, the gas prices are crazy, they take pictures of them, they post them on their social media, they say Joe Biden did it, all this stuff. But what's funny is they're still driving. They're still driving their car. They're still going out in the town every weekend. That's a pretty sunset coming in, by the way. Maybe I'll do this way instead. Let's see. Right there. But they're still driving around. So obviously the complaint isn't a true objection. They're just complaining about the price, but they're still driving their car around. And that happens all the time in sales. I relate it to an iceberg. I think almost 90% of an iceberg's mass is underwater. So it's the same thing with objections. It's the same thing with what's going on in the customer's mind. 90% of what they're thinking is below the surface. Like, they're not telling you exactly what they're thinking. So what's really cool is treat everything like a complaint unless further stated. So if someone complains about the price, just agree with them. Hey, I get it, the price is expensive. And then just keep moving on in the process. How you'll know it's a complaint is you'll ask them for the sale and they'll say no. Now they'll say no and they'll give you a reason. Take that first reason at face value. What you want to do is dig further like a doctor would diagnose a patient. So you want to ask questions like, hey, I totally understand, let me write this down. So tell me, what are your concerns? Write down everything that they say. I totally get that. I see where you're coming from. What else? See what else they say. What are your other objections? Write down everything that they say. There has to be something else. And this is the fourth question you've asked them. You write down everything that they say. Okay, so what's your real concern? And you're saying all of this genuine, but by this time you've asked these 5 questions, and by this point they've exhausted all of their complaints and you're getting to the true objection. So you really want to dig deep. You don't want to take the complaints as objections. Once you ask for the sale and they say no, you want to ask more questions. And then at the very end you say, I learned this from Grant Cardone. You say, so say it really is like money. Say money truly is the objection. You get down to it and you say, it sounds like, money is the true objection. Is that right? And they say yes. You say, well, that wouldn't keep you from buying it, would it? And if they say yes, money would keep them from buying it, that's the true objection, and that's the one you want to focus on overcoming. The important thing about that is you haven't overcome any objections because you've just been treating them like complaints and brushing over them. But once you get to the true objection, you want to handle it. You want to truly and sincerely help the customer overcome that objection. But until then, you don't know if it's a complaint or not. So hopefully this helps you out. If you have more questions, I'd love to answer them. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe. And let me know some of the complaints that you guys hear, the objections that you hear during the sales process. Anyways, we'll catch you on the next video. Have a great day. We'll see you guys later.